Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Today is the starting of Kartika Masa. So, in the Sanatana Dharma, all time periods are cyclic. So, the smallest observable time period being a breathe in and breathe out cycle, which is an asvasa, and a number of such asvasas will roll up into a day consisting of day and night. 7 such days is a quarter of a month. Then 2 such quarters is a fortnight. Then it goes on rolling up into a year, which is having 2 ayanas. So 2 pakshas will make up a month. 2 such months make up a ritu or a season, and 3 such seasons will make up into a ayana, sun's southward and northward movement, Dakshinayana and Uttarayana. And these ayanas will get into the year, multiple year cycles, like 2 years, 5 year cycles, 12 years. 12 5-year cycles will make up a 60-year cycle. So 12 years make up a Jupiter cycle, 30 years makes up a Saturn's cycle, and putting together we will get into a 60-year cycle, and several such 60-year cycles combined together into much larger yugas. Yuga charanas, yugas, kalpas. So all the way starting from the lowest of the cycle to the highest of cycle, there are parvas, or the markers. So in typically a human being with intellect will be able to observe the relative positioning of sun and moon and the star constellation in which the moon is there. Based on this, we observe a lot of rutus, rutam, or the observed reality. So all the observed reality depends on these movements or the cycles. So we have these cycles are recognized by the movements of planets around us, and the respective star constellations behind in which this movement is bringing different planets together, etc. So these parvas are the markers which allow us to see, yeah, there is a cycle which has gone by and we are again entering the same cycle. So rutus, the rainy season, are these different seasons. When they go through, we'll be able to recognize from the atmospheric changes or climatic changes which are happening around us. So when Sharad Ritu comes, we have several parvas again with Devi Navaratri until the 15 days, 10 days of 10 days of Navaratri, again the Asvaja Purnima. Kartika Masa, as it starts, we have seen like Dhanatrayodasi, Naraka Chaturdasi, Deepavali, which is the new moon day. Moving forward, Govardhana Puja, and Bhatru Dvitiya, where it is Yama Dvitiya. So this current period, this parva, is related to Yama and Kubera. Yama, Kubera, Digapala, Jahate. So even in Chalisa, Hanuman Chalisa, we get this. So north and south direction. So east and west, the directions in which all of the movement happens, the whole of this spatial cycle, or which is seen, that each rasi, each of these constellation moving up, turning towards the east, we can see each Mesha, Vrishabham, Mithunam, Karkatakam, one after the other coming up, going down. So on the other hand, the north and south directions, these two directions are, the lords of these two directions are, north is Kubera, the worldly prosperity and the wealth. The south is Yama, Yama or Dharmaraja, who actually takes care of adjusting all the karmas of those who have left the current body and assigns or allows them to get into another body. So Kubera, Dhanatrayodasi is Kubera Lakshmi Vrata, then Naraka Chaturdasi, Yama Tarpanam, Yama Chitragupta are multiple names, the Tarpanam is done. Then Pitru Devatas are worshipped on the Amavasya. Coming to Govardhana Puja, there are two events which is known as Balipadjami and Govardhana Puja as such. So Balipadjami is a event where Bali, who is a king of Asuras, occupied Swarga, and Vishnu comes down to send Bali back to his own place, assuring him the next Indra. Until then, he will be in the Rasatala. So Bali is allowed to come back once in a while. So the Bali is the positive pride. The negativity is removed and positive pride is allowed to go into the next cycle. So these cycles of time, these parvas. So sometimes there are few misconceptions saying that only after Narakasura has been killed, it has known as Naraka Chaturdasi. It is not like that. In Sanatana Dharma, each parva happens when that combination of sun and moon along with that in that star happens. These are declared that this time period, performing certain actions, a person can avoid some inauspicious things which may happen, and also can get certain auspiciousness by performing certain type of actions. So these actions are linking the time cycle with the spatial, astral, spatial and events which are happening there in a person's life. So inadvertently, knowingly, unknowingly, sometimes we all commit some mistakes, cause harm to the environment, and not perform our duties well, so that causing certain damage to the environment again by not performing the duties. All these things can cause several unwanted results, and these results, from time to time, we can review, correct the scope, so we can renew ourselves during these parvas. At that time, our Chit Shakti, our mind, gets aligned to receive certain teachings or certain signals. So The Naraka Chaturdasi is much before Narakasura. The Yama Tarpanam is Naraka is something which gives us pain. So, not having freedom or confined into a cell or into a small human body or whatever it is, a small thing. That Naraka, when it is controlled, governed by Yama. So, worshipping Yama or understanding Yama's way of doing things, a human being can definitely renew themselves, correct their ways to achieve their goals properly. So, Yama also is the Lord of lifespan, apamrutyu, or death, untimely death, will not allow a human being to perform all his duties, learn all those things which need to be learned. So, apamrutyu is a dosha. That is avoided by the kind of bhagini haksta bhojanam, today's day, having food prepared by the sister. Will help this thing. So, all these things, when to rationally somebody is trying to understand, at first it becomes very difficult. It looks like everything is a myth or mythology, something written somewhere, so you have to accept it. It is not necessarily the case. If we understand the nature of time, everyone is going through these cycles, and these cycles are linked to or can be recognized with changes which are happening in the body. For example, body is also having 6 seasons: the birth to death, birth, growth, sustenance, then disease, decay, old age, and death. So these 6 rutus, like starting from Vasanta Rutu to Shishira Rutu, on the other hand, these happen to the body as well. So these cycles are common for any being. The length of the cycle varies. In that, there are definitely the parvas, or the markers, which marks a Deepavali or Dasara, Gita Jayanti, Ramanavami, Krishnashtami, Guru Purnima. Any of these are the markers, and each marker in the time comes in those respective cyclic point with a specific star, moon and sun in that angular distance, which signifies the Atma and the mind aligning to a cosmic divine energy, or the spectrum in the energy. So the parvas have been given, there are certain practices are given. So you take a abhyanga snanam on this day, external purity, for the internal purity do the japa, tapas, japa, perform certain rituals of naktam in the Kartika Masa to help body and mind come back or renew themselves into the natural rhythm of time cycles of days and nights to the much larger cycles of birth to death. So the point I wanted to make today is following the discipline as prescribed will not only give physical, emotional, psychological results, but beyond that, a spiritually uplifting an individual self, taking through the required discipline, purification process, and also renewal process, so that the being gets renewed and gets aligned with the natural longer cycles of time. So there are this, because I wanted to mention this because there are a lot of misconceptions about, okay, this event or somebody's birthday we celebrate, somebody's or just a specific winning of a divine force against a demonic force is being celebrated. Yes, they are being celebrated, but the parva, underlying parva, like Deepavali, Rama won over Ravana and Krishna winning over Narakasura. Around that parva or around this Sarad Rutu is not a coincidence, but it signifies that such kind of internal Ravanasura, internal Narakasura are there within this body, and the divine forces within this body is also trying to overpower or win over those negative forces. And it can well happen during these periods when practicing the method properly. A life of Sanatana Dharma goes around as per the time outside, as per the rutus. So that is the only point here. So this, whatever is declared, revealed in Vaidika and Shastras, Vedas and Shastras, they came as acharas. Achara prabho dharmo dharmasya prabhurachyutaha. So niyanta, niyamo, yamaha. So Supreme Lord only becomes niyanta, niyama, yamaha. So he only prescribes the duties, he only makes them adherence to it, or gives those results if not being adhered properly, or if those things are not followed properly. So to renew or to get these things right, it is always easier, simpler to follow the prescribed ratam or the dharma or the achara which has been prescribed in the Sanatana Dharma. Striving to know this dharma and following whatever is possible will, even it is a small amount of dharma, which can help remove a large amount of ignorance. Even a small light lamp can remove the whole darkness in the room. So Bharatiya Sanatana Dharma always tries to take an individual from that individual's ignorance into the universal light. And this parva, as we go through, and the Kartika Masa is a light, specific to light. All the days a light is lit, lamps are lit, and Kartika Purnima, multiple things at the Somavara. Sarva Devata, Sarva Devata Puja or Sarva Devata Upasana, the best time for the Upasana. So it also ending of Chaturmasya Vratam. There is also a saying, so Sanatana Dharma again gives a longer rituals like Chaturmasya Vratam people can perform. If they can't perform Chaturmasya Vratam, at least Kartika Masa, if they follow with the discipline, the principles of Kartika Masa with discipline, that gives the result of all the Chaturmasya Vratam. So again in the Kartika Purana they say, even if you can't follow all the Kartika Masa, then follow 4 or 5 Somavaras. This year you will get 5 Somavaras, 5 Mondays a Vrata. Vrata or something, a discipline of controlling the senses and their pull towards their own sense objects and turning them towards the inward light which is there in the form of Shiva, Vishnu or whatever Devi, Ishtadevata, and worshipping that god, goddess in the way known to the individual, or trying to know the swarupa or swabhava, the ritual, what is to be performed to worship that god or goddess, and doing that through the Kartika Masa will definitely help. So the Masa is one big marker for the year. So Kartika Masa itself becomes one marker within the year. So for Somavaras can become, or the Purnima can become a marker. So when Kritika Nakshatram and full moon in Kritika Nakshatram, this month Kritika is fire star. So fire is, so each lamp we invoke the auspiciousness in the tip of the lamp and worship that supreme auspiciousness as Lakshmi, as Shiva, Damodara, different names. Each name again gives a lot of understanding about what we are trying to learn. So this is a great, wonderful Parva, period of Parva. Wishing everyone a wonderful upcoming Kartika Masa. Again, bowing down to the Guru Parampara, from my Guru all the way to Shankara Acharya and Vyasa Maharshi, and going up all the way to Narayana Samarambham or Sadasiva Samarambham, Sadasiva or Narayana. Swasti. May everyone make use of this wonderful parvas in their life to renew and gain the grace and the auspiciousness of Supreme. Swasti.